Do you think he beats Jack Della Maddalena?
I think we'll find out first, second round how much trouble he has getting him down. I think if he gets those takedowns, he's going to get the win. If Jack can stop those takedowns, which he does have good takedown defense, I think the boxing and the size could wear on Islam and give him some problems. But his striking's, awkward.
JDM don't wrestle, but he was defending well, and he puts damage on you.
Off rip.
Starts putting damage on you, and he can box.
So how do you see that fight with him and Islam? Does he have the ability to beat a guy like Islam?
He'll get takedown attempts coming at him very early. This time. The last fight, he didn't have to deal with that when he was fresh. If Islam can start to pressure him early and take him down early, or even just make him wrestle, he might struggle.
Before we move further, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you stay locked in with everything happening in the MMA world. Let's get started. Daniel Cormier has recently dropped his surprising thoughts on the upcoming fight between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena. Meanwhile, Ilia Topuria shared some tactical advice for Jack, suggesting that attacking Islam's body could help slow down his relentless wrestling game. He explained that going to the midsection might make Islam hesitate to shoot for takedowns as often. Ilia also praised Jack's striking and the way he approaches each fight.
Have any advice for Jack, who might be coming up against Islam Makhachev next?
The advice, he has to work the straight body shots, because that takes away the intentions of the takedown. If he works with the straight body shots, he's gonna stop his intentions of the takedowns. And he's doing a great job at the striking. I like how he fights.
Alexander Volkanovski also weighed in on how the fight might play out. He highlighted that Jack's performance against Belal Muhammad was the perfect test run, improving his takedown defense and giving him the confidence needed to handle high-level grapplers like Islam. Volkanovski believes this experience will make it harder for Islam to keep Jack down.
Islam Makhachev is going to be fighting Jack Della Maddalena. How do you think those two match up?
I think Jack's fight against Belal was a perfect fight for leading into that. Just purely, you take a lot out of stop and takedowns, because again, every fighter's still going to have little doubts that are going to creep in. I'm sure Jack was going through that, being like, all right, worrying about, what if he takes me down and all that. But the fact that he was able to stop it and feel so comfortable, I guarantee you he's leveled up again. His confidence in his takedowns has just went up significantly leading into this fight. I think his confidence is going to be at a whole nother level. So through camp, I guarantee you, if he's back in training right now, people trying to take him down are going to find it almost impossible. Only the top guys are going to have a chance of taking him down, and they're going to have a very hard time even holding him down.
Daniel Cormier, however, pointed out that while Jack doesn't actively wrestle, he's great at defending and landing damage early. He mentioned that in Jack's last fight, he didn't have to deal with constant takedown threats in the opening rounds. But against Islam, that's going to change. Cormier thinks Islam will push the wrestling right away, and that could test Jack in a big way if he's not ready.
JDM don't wrestle, but he was defending well, and he puts damage on you.
Off rip.
Starts putting damage on you, and he can box.
So how do you see that fight with him and Islam? Does he have the ability to beat a guy like Islam?
He'll get takedown attempts coming at him very early. This time. The last fight, he didn't have to deal with that when he was fresh. If Islam can start to pressure him early and take him down early, or even just make him wrestle, he might struggle.
Cormier also explained that Islam's wrestling isn't just standard double legs or singles. He mixes in trips, footwork, and uses the cage to wear opponents down. Cormier said Jack might not see these setups coming, which could cause real problems. While he didn't make an outright prediction, he said it's fascinating to see how Jack deals with this pressure and style clash.
I don't know that he's ever felt anything like he's going to feel, because it's not going to be double legs and single legs with Islam. It's going to be him playing with his feet, tripping him, moving around on the octagon side, doing things that he don't recognize as freely.
But you didn't answer the question.
The problem is, I can only give you that because I can't truly make a prediction. The job doesn't allow it.
On top of that, Sean O'Mealy said Islam versus Jack would be a massive fight, especially now that Islam's coming off a win over Belal Muhammad. He thinks Jack can make it competitive if he keeps defending the takedowns and lands crisp strikes, but also reminded people that Islam's striking is better than many give him credit for. Ali called Islam's move up to welterweight exciting, and believes the size factor won't be a huge deal. The striking exchanges might even be more important.
Islam relinquish his belt and go up to 170. Got JDM taking on Islam Makhachev.
I still think Islam's skill for skill is just so high level. For him to go out there and do what he did against Belal was very impressive, made that Islam fight more interesting. If JDM can shut him down and throw those hands, but Islam's boxing is underrated. That dude is slick. His kickboxing, his timing, he's a high level black belt in every aspect of MMA.
Big belt,
Who give him?
Jack versus Islam, I think, is huge. Not as big as Ilia versus Islam, but who knows? Maybe they both win and Islam comes back down to 55 and the fight's even bigger.
How do you think Islam does at welterweight?
Who knows? I heard he's not going to be any smaller than Jack come fight night. 55 to 70, that's a little bit different than 35 to 45, 45 to 55. But when your skill level's that high, as Islam's is, it'll be interesting if he goes in there and tries to shoot on Jack. Jack stuffs him and gets in his face. But Islam's striking is so underrated. Islam could put the hands on Jack, too.
Earlier, Cormier described this potential fight as a real blockbuster and wondered how Islam's grappling and fight IQ will match up with someone naturally bigger. He questioned whether Islam would have enough time to pack on the weight properly for welterweight.
It's a fantastic fight. It's a big-time fight. And if Jack Della looks the way he did last weekend, it's very, very intriguing fight because we've never seen Islam Makhachev fight up at 170 pounds. We've never seen it. We've never seen him have to compete up 15 more pounds. Yes, he is a big dude. But in terms of full-on stature, is he big as Jack Della Maddalena is? And also, if he thought he may fight International Fight Week, how small had he gotten? And how much time does he have to put the weight back on the right way before he moves up to 170?
He also noted what makes this matchup special, the champion versus champion storyline. Jack just beat Belal Muhammad, and now Islam could be stepping up a division. Cormier said that new weight class dynamic makes the fight even more interesting.
A lot of questions, but it's a big-time fight, and we'll get into the X's and O's as we get closer. But right now, we're talking the story. We're talking the story. We're talking about a guy that just beat Belal Muhammad to become champion, now getting challenged by a 155-pound champion.
Charles Oliveira also spoke about how their styles clash. He sees Jack as a patient and precise striker who breaks down opponents over time, while Islam will look to stick to his wrestling. He thinks it all comes down to whether Jack can avoid getting stuck on the mat.
Você acha que ganha entre o Jack Della Maddalena e o Islam?
Maddalena, ele é jogo muito complicado, porque ele é cara que ele não vem pra te nocautear rápido, ele vem pra te finalizar, ele vem te magoando, né?
Aos poucos, né?
Aos poucos. Foi o que ele fez agora no luta contra o Bilal. Só que eu acho que o Islam vai se dar muito bem nessa categoria, né, mano? Agora vai estar muito mais forte, é jogo que, tipo, ele gosta de agarrar e botar pra baixo. Eu acho que o Jack Maddalena fazia a mesma luta que ele fez, né? Agora contra o Bilal, batendo, movimentando, saindo, machucando, é uma luta, mas se deixar o Islam agarrar e botar pra baixo é o pai.
Dustin Poirier added that whoever takes control early could win it. If Islam gets those takedowns quickly, Poirier sees him cruising to victory. But if Jack keeps the fight standing and stuffs the shots, his power and reach could flip the momentum. Dustin also said Islam's striking often looks awkward because his opponents are always worried about the takedown.
Do you think he beats Jack Della Maddalena?
I think we'll find out first, second round how much trouble he has getting him down. I think if he gets those takedowns, he's going to get the win. If Jack can stop those takedowns, which he does have good takedown defense, I think the boxing and the size could wear on Islam and give him some problems. But his striking's, awkward and different. You have to worry so much about the takedown. You can't plant your feet and throw off those number combinations and really rip and sit on your punches because he's going to change levels. So it changes the way you fight. Well, for me, it did. I'm speaking from experience. So we'll see how Jack approaches and how Jack executes out there. But if you're worried about takedowns, your shots are different. You're not sitting on everything and standing in front of the guy. You're trying to move and be light on your feet. I think the first 2 rounds will tell us how this fight's going to go.
Javier Mendez said that fighting Jack might actually be tougher for Islam than facing Ilia Topuria. He pointed to Jack's bigger frame and unpredictable style, saying it adds extra challenges that could make things more complicated for Islam's camp.
JDM is a trickier puzzle to figure out than a potential fight with an Ilia Topuria. It's interesting because both of those guys, both JDM and Ilia Topuria, they both possess great boxing, right? But they're both kind of tricky puzzles in their own right. Who do you feel like is the trickier puzzle to figure out, JDM or Ilia Topuria?
For me, JDM. JDM is the tougher one because of number one, the size. Number two, he's good everywhere. If it was just boxing, then we don't have to worry as much because JDM's boxing is not as good as Topuria, but overall, his kicking, his kneeing, his overall game is very good.
Ali Abdelaziz confirmed that Islam is lined up to fight for the welterweight belt this year. He mentioned that if Jack can't defend it for some reason, the UFC might strip him and match Islam up with someone else for the vacant title.
When will it happen, Islam and Jack?
Islam fighting for the title this year.
the non-interim title. Jack Maddalena is the champion, but if Jack is not available, it will be someone else fighting Islam for the title. That's what the UFC told me. That's what Dana told me. That's what Hunters, everybody said. And that was one of the stipulations. If Islam go up, Jack get injured, and I hope he's healthy, and he seemed like he's healthy, this title will be vacated and Islam will fight for welterweight.
Stephen Thompson brought up concerns about Islam's size, noting that welterweights are naturally larger. Still, he acknowledged Islam's grappling is elite, but thinks Jack's success against wrestlers like Belal shows he can stay competitive.
I don't know, man. I mean, when you're going up to the welterweight division, those are some big boys. And I know Islam Makhachev walks around fairly heavy, but a lot of these 170s, they walk around real heavy. I'm talking about, over 205, 210 into 215. Some of the guys that I've faced would walk around at that weight. I think like the height, I think they might be the same height. I think JDM might be a little taller, but when it comes to those guys and their strength, Islam, I think, is going to have a tough time. Now, do I think he could get it done? Yes. I think he's that good of a grappler. But like I said, JDM has faced some of the best welterweight grapplers and wrestlers in the division. Belal being one of them. I think it's going to be a tough night for him. I would like to see Islam fight Topuria. That's just me. I would love to see that fight happen. But if he comes up, we'll see what the UFC gets behind. And we all know you got to convince the UFC to make it happen. And you do that first by getting on Twitter, shouting it out, and get people talking about it. And that's what Islam did. So we'll see if that fight happens with JDM.
Analyst Luke Thomas gave Jack props for his sharp striking in his last fight, saying it really stood out compared to Belal Muhammad's. While he respects Belal's effort, Thomas felt Jack's stand-up was on another level. But he did mention some holes in Jack's game, like defensive gaps and poorly timed shots that Islam could exploit.
I really think that, you knew the striking prowess of JDM, if he could just have enough time to get it going, would be enough. I think Muhammad somewhat overperformed relative to expectations, but in the end, JDM was better. But the defensive lapses, to me, I know we have to focus on like how good JDM is as a striker, but what could have cost him here was the incompleteness of his defense. And to me, he took a quantum leap forward today in showing how good that was. Now, again, trying to turn that defense into offense by trying to go for some of those ill-advised takedowns, especially in the fifth, and then you're getting kind of lateral dropped for it. You do that against Islam, and I think that's a huge mistake. Islam just doesn't make a lot of mistakes, right? He doesn't necessarily have, at times, always the flashiest offense. I mean, he does have very good offense. We're talking about the pound-for-pound number one guy in the sport. But what really defines him is that he makes very, very good decisions.
Luke also talked about how exciting Islam's move to welterweight is. He said that even though a fight with Topuria would be great, seeing Islam test himself at 170 pounds is just as intriguing. He knows the step up won't be easy, but believes it's a huge chance for Islam to grab a second belt and join the double champ club.
I have to tell you, Islam up at 170 to me is exciting. I know what everyone's going to say. Oh my God, the best fight you could have made in MMA was Ilia versus Islam. I'm not denying it. I'm not in any way asking you to feel differently about what was the best fight that could be made. But here's what I am trying to tell you. Islam up at 170 could be something really special. It could fizzle too, but I'm trying to point out the positives. It could be really special. For him to become a double champ could be a very big deal.
Thomas added that Islam is still expected to fight Jack next, but a match with Topuria down the road is still on the table. He said even if Islam narrowly loses at welterweight, he can always drop back to lightweight and take on Topuria later. He said Islam deserves the shot at 2 belts because he's shown he'll fight anyone.
Just because you're going to get, it looks like, Makhachev and JDM next, doesn't mean you actually can't get Makhachev and Ilia at some point. It could be he goes up against JDM and maybe he doesn't get his ass kicked, but maybe he just kind of loses and you're like, oh, all right. Then you go back to 55 and you can see what's up after that. So it's not even a case that you can't get it. But my point is, Islam at 170, if he gives us 3 or maybe even 4 of those, is a treat as far as I'm concerned. Like him vying for double champ status, he's earned it. He gave Volkanovski 2 cracks. He accepted one of those on short notice, and I know it was like shorter notice for Volkanovski, but nevertheless, accepting to fight Alexander Volkanovski on very, very short notice is still risky no matter who you are. And no matter how much prep, and he gave him both of those. He did one of those fights in Volkanovski's home country. He's earned it. He's earned it. He's absolutely earned it.
Philip Rowe gave his take too, saying he'd back Jack to win. He questioned whether Islam has the raw size and strength for 170, and pointed to Jack's power and ability to get back up as big advantages. He predicts Jack would win by stoppage.
Philip Rowe, what's cracking, man?
Chilling.
Hey, now listen, you're welterweight. You've been in the game a long time. Islam moving up to 170. Is he big enough for 170?
My personal opinion, I don't think he is, but he's a champ. We'll see when he's there. You know what I'm saying? He has a fight. He's fighting the champ. That's the best 170 in the world right now, right? So we'll see.
So you don't think he has the size, but how do you think he does in a fight versus JDM?
I personally think JDM beats him. I think JDM will be able to get up if he does take him down. I don't think he'll be able to take JDM shots. I think personally he'll stop Islam.
Kamaru Usman also said fans shouldn't underestimate Jack, calling him a really talented fighter. He gave Islam props for making the division more exciting, and said everyone will be watching if he manages to grab the welterweight belt.
Like basically tonight you got yourself a title shot, you got yourself the winner of JDM Islam?
I mean, you don't feel like that? Who else?
You're the biggest name, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
But I'm asking you.
Oh yeah, for sure. JDM is no slouch. Let's not look past JDM. I said that in his last fight, and he went out there and he showed you guys, don't look past him. He's very, very talented. Islam is extremely talented. I love Islam. I think him coming in makes that division a lot more interesting. So if he's able to get in there and wrestle that belt away from JDM, former pound for pound, current pound for pound, I mean, I think everybody wants to watch that. So, yeah.
Aljamain Sterling came in strong, saying he expects Jack to handle Islam easily in his first defense. He admitted some people might think he's exaggerating, but believes Jack will win so clearly that people will stop talking about Islam versus Topuria. Sterling highlighted Jack's size and mid-range striking as reasons why Islam will struggle to shoot.
You picked JDM to win. Now he's got a big challenge in his first title defense against Islam. Do you think he's got what it takes to beat an Islam Makhachev in his first defense?
People are going to say it's a wild take, but I reckon JDM smokes Islam. Shins him so bad. It's going to be so bad that the Topuria Islam thing will just be gone.
So you think Islam's wrestling won't be a threat to JDM just because he's a lot bigger?
He's a lot bigger, and when you watch JDM, you put him on the end of mid-range, he's just going to throw. That's hard to shoot in on. He's not going to be able to just abuse his size against him either. I think Islam's in for a rude awakening.
Gilbert Burns said moving up is actually a good fit for Islam's frame. He mentioned that Islam once said he wouldn't give up the lightweight title, but did anyway, probably because of contract stuff. Burns thinks this is a smart step for Islam to keep proving himself.
What did you think about the Islam vacating the belt and going up and immediately getting a shot at the welterweight bout? And what do you think about that? And how different is that fight going to play out than what we saw versus Bilal?
That's going to be a great fight. Islam is working very hard. He's been saying vocal that he wants to go up to 170. I think he's big. I think he's a big boy. He killed himself to make 55. I think that's the right division for Islam. He just tweeted something after the fight that he will not vacate the title, and then he vacated the title. I don't know. I think he was a little okay. If you're going up, we gotta. I don't know, but probably that was in the negotiation. And I like him moving up. Proving himself. He's #1 pound for pound right now.
He added that this fight with Jack is way more competitive than people expect. He pointed out that Jack has been training with big names like Volkanovski and Craig Jones, who know Islam's style well. Burns thinks that kind of prep could really make a difference.
It's a good fight. Jack and Islam closer than people think, especially with Jack Della Maddalena doing a lot of training with Volk, with Craig Jones, those guys that kind of crack the Islam on that first Volk fight. I think they're going to have a lot of info, a lot of study, a lot of answers. It's closer than people think, this fight. I really like this fight. I don't have time right now. I didn't have time to dig deep a little too much in that fight, but I think it's way closer than people think. And JDM has a clear shot on beating Islam,
Corey Sandhagen gave Jack credit, but said he doesn't love the idea of Jack fighting Islam right after winning the belt. He'd rather see Jack defend it against other welterweights first. He's also more pumped to see Islam versus Topuria and wants to catch Tom Aspinall against John Jones.
I missed that one actually, but I have watched a bunch of JDM's fights and I know that he's real good, but I don't really want to say JDM fight Islam, honestly. I don't really like when someone wins a belt and then they fight a guy from a lower weight class. I kind of want to watch JDM fight at 170 for a bit before too much of that stuff starts happening. I really want to watch Ilia and Islam fight, and I really want to watch Tom Aspinall and John Jones fight.
Joaquin Buckley said he'd pick Islam if they fought, but also mentioned that he wants to fight Islam himself someday if they both get to the top. Still, he doubts Islam stays at 170 long. Buckley thinks if Islam wins the belt, he'll probably retire to keep his legacy untouched.
Between JDM and Islam, who do you think wins that fight if they do both?
Islam.
Yeah. You feel like maybe down the line you two could fight? Obviously, if he becomes champion and you're a top contender.
I would love it, but I don't think Islam would. I truly believe if Islam is able to win that 170 title, he gonna move. What, he gonna stick around and potentially, lose that winning streak? I don't think so. I think he really just trying to cement his name, and then once he wins that welterweight belt, my man gonna retire at the end of the day. That's my opinion.
Jack Hermanson admitted it's always tricky to guess when a fighter moves weight classes. He said Islam looks unbeatable at lightweight, but it's a question mark at welterweight. Hermanson still favors Islam, but wants to see more from Jack first.
Yeah, it's so hard because you never know when people are changing weight classes. But in lightweight, Islam looks like unbeatable. It's just like maybe the pound for pound best. It's just so insanely good. But can he do it in a weight class above? I'm not sure. Really, really hard to predict a fight like that. I think I still have to say Islam.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so. We need to see a few more fights with Jack. He looked amazing against Bilal, but I don't know, man. It's something about Islam is just so good.
All right, that's a wrap for today's breakdown. What do you think about this matchup? Drop your predictions and thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out more of our content right here on screen.